Upon entering the track, Santa Anita patrons are greeted by this gorgeous fountain and the petulant, the proud John Henry on one side, and Zenyatta, the Queen, winner of 19 straight and 2010 Horse of the Year. Adjacent to the two champions is the saddling area. Here, authenticity and closed hatches prepare for Friday's Breeders' Cup Distaff. Fans, curious onlookers, and handicappers await the horses as they make their way out to the paddock this way. Here, Beholder, winner of the 2012 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Filly, looks to repeat that success in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. She is followed by her trainer, Dick Mandella. The inside of the Breeders' Cup paddock is a coveted place, set aside for owners, jockeys, and trainers. The outside, onlookers, handicappers, looking for a betting angle. That's right. The first jockey to 9,000 victories, Lafitte Pincay Jr., was on hand greeting jockeys as they entered the paddock. Other Breeders' Cup paddock sightings, you ask? Shug McGahee, trainer of Kentucky Derby winner Orb. Todd Pletcher passed on by, and those are the green and white colors of D. Wayne Lucas, who's made many trips to the Breeders' Cup paddock and also to the winner's circle. Here on Friday, he takes a break from lunch to watch one of his past distaff winners, Lady's Secret. Here as they load the final horse into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Don't blink, else you might miss the start. As the horses make their way around the track, they leave some unsung heroes behind. The assistant starters, the gate crew, the lead ponies, and the guys with the rakes that rake it all up. Of course, the finish line is the place that all owners, trainers, jockeys, and horses want to reach first. Meanwhile on the turf sprint that is, Jim Rome's misdirection put in a bid for 2 Breeders' Cups in a row. This was jockey Mike Smith's 3rd win for Breeders' Cup 2013 and 20th all time. Reason enough to stop and pose for the paparazzi.
Mikey! Alright, good job, man. I'm in again.
How many more are you going to win, Mike?
Keep it going,
Smith started his winning ways on Friday with the first Breeders' Cup race of the meet, the marathon aboard the London Bridge. After weighing in, he sees friend Richie Migliore, former jockey and current HRTV commentator. At the Breeders' Cup, even the blanket of flowers get an escort. The first race on Breeders' Cup Saturday proved to be the most controversial, the Juvenile Filly. Here on the far outside in the pink silks, Gary Stevens gets a great start upon She's a Tiger.
She's a Tiger sprints up, going to be forced to go wide. Scandal attack is right there as well. Secret Compass in the
The finish for She's a Tiger? Well, that's another thing altogether. Here in deep stretch, she bumps Ria Antonia, ekes out a nose victory, but the stewards put up the inquiry sign and take a long look. Gary Stevens comes back to cheers before the decision is made to disqualify her. Following the Juvenile Filly, Stevens ultimately ended up like these jockeys, a little dirty, a little dejected, but certainly with a big enough beef following the questionable disqualification of She's a Tiger. After putting up the $100,000 supplemental fee, Stanko, family, friends, partners, King of Prussia stable, trekked out to Santa Anita Park on Distaff Day. As he usually does, Stanko watched the action through his binoculars as Princess of Selmar passed by the finish line the first time. And in the stands, the Stanko's usual whooping and yelling was more subdued this time. And instead of a winner's circle celebration, only an explanation from Javier Castellano as to why Princess of Selmar did not run this day. And the cheers this time were held for Beholder, two-time Breeders' Cup champion. Joining her in the Breeders' Cup two-time victory parade is Wise Dan in the mile and Groupie Doll in the filly and mare sprint. On Thursday, before all the Breeders' Cup action, Horse Racing Nation was lucky enough to catch these eventual winners. Marathon winner London Bridge, who needed all 1 mile and 3/4 to get to the finish line just in time to take the first Breeders' Cup race. We were also lucky enough to catch Juvenile winner New Year's Day, stretching his legs a few days before. Let's take a look at the top of the stretch in the Juvenile. Tough to see here. Pink colors, black hat, going to the whip number 4, chasing Havana and Strong Mandate home. Tight quarters, but he's going to be good enough to get there in an early Kentucky Derby favorite. Back to the Euro section of the backside, we find eventual turf winner, Magician, before he pulled off his magic following a 6-month layoff. As you can see, 55,000 plus turned out on Breeders' Cup Saturday to take in all the racing action. Let us do the same. Top of the stretch, Trevor Denman, take us home. Following Tony Braxton's national anthem, it was time to play with the big boys in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Mucho Macho Man, Declaration of War, we'll take charge!
Inside, Mucho Macho Man has the lead close to home. Mucho Macho Man, Declaration of War, will take charge of Final Man. Mucho Macho Man! He did it over, will take charge. The Declaration of War in a thrilling Breeders' Cup Classic.
And there you have it, a fitting way to end Breeders' Cup 2013. Gary Stevens, 50 years old, 7 years after retirement, comes back and wins his first Breeders' Cup Classic. The color, the majesty, as depicted in this Santa Anita mural, paled in comparison as to what we saw on the track, where the best equine athletes on the planet put themselves out there for 2 days of Breeders' Cup racing action. And the Breeders' Cup symbol could be seen everywhere for the 2 days of racing, including the hindquarters of a horse-drawn carriage parked on the stretch. And it was nice to actually see fans at a racetrack. Not something we see in this day and age where most of us are parked behind a computer making our wager. And the winners were clearly there for all of us to see and enjoy.